It's a pleasure to be with you this evening, to welcome you to the CASE competition, to give you some thinking about the sector and the challenges that lie ahead for us.
If you're familiar with the CASE competitions, we've done issues ranging from suburban poverty to reducing stigma associated with mental illness, to look at how to improve the conditions in one of the city's neighborhoods, Homewood. But tonight's challenge is much closer to home, so we're really excited to have you working on something that's so close to our present challenges, but it also means you get a little bit of a pitch about the Department of Human Services and then a little bit of a pitch about the Department of Human Services. So we apologize for that. DHS has prioritized building a human services workforce that is ready to meet the challenges and opportunities of the 21st century. You are a team of consultants who have been hired by DHS to develop a 3-year recruitment and retention plan to get us measurably closer to our ideal workforce.
And we were all surprised by this result, but very encouraged. Number one by far was the ability to make an impact.
First, what they need to do is collect and organize educational resources. They need to know what the frontline staff needs to learn.
We really want to look at the impact review.
We need a historical perspective to see it.
Whether or not employees are actually identifying that they are proud to work for.
It's my belief that if we have some of the right people thinking about problems, that if we turn them on their head a bit, that there are silver bullets in some of the most difficult pressing public policy issues.
So this is geographically what it looks like, 60-40%.
We want to keep improving the mentoring program, and that can be done through surveys.
So we're coming to you because we actually think you guys will have ideas for this. So we think you're going to access other resources, but I think some of the best ideas will come from your very thinking about it.
Thursday we worked from about 12 to 6, and then each of us in between that, like 6 and the rest of the night, we probably each put in a couple hours. And then Friday we were there from about 11:30 until about 11:30.
Almost 20 hours?
Yeah. And then we went home and we had some other stuff to type
Yeah.
up and correct on our own, so we were
Yeah.
probably awake until about 1, and then getting here at 7 on Saturday.
As you made.
So that essentially we would address through training, right?
The things that we need to answer are like, what type of individual should be targeted? Where can these people be found? What should the recruitment campaign begin?
I think the most important thing is coming together as a team. The time constraint is there, and that's very intentional on their end. But the real challenge is working with these people you probably don't know and trying to identify your skills so you can really hone in on them and come together as a group and make the best of your experience together.
Components of the goal. And I think that the components of the goal are who are we recruiting?
So today we will be presenting the future of social services with a focus on diverse, leadership-driven employment brand for DHS. We're going to be asked to do this in the workplace.
Yeah.
Let's say one of us goes in and we get put in a position as a supervisor, manager, administrator position, and we're asked to bring on new talent to solve a problem. This is going to be very applicable because this is what the process is going to be. Not in such a condensed, racking experience. It's going to be over a couple days or weeks. But these are the same skills, working with people, getting ideas, brainstorming, researching tools, researching, other practices elsewhere and bringing them in.
And definitely learning to work under a deadline and a lot of pressure and still putting out a good product. I think that's the most important thing.
And what has the increase in systems thinking been across our time frame?
So you might wonder why we do this. So all of these things, or most of these things, are true. We do this because we get hours of free consulting from all of you on a really important issue. We do this because we like, and we hope you do too, free ladder-style water bottles. You're getting yours after.
On your way out the door.
Yeah. We do this because we really do like, or I like, to expose students who wouldn't consider government to the issues that we're facing. I am particularly interested in seeing what people are wearing. Like our judges, we want to hire some of you. Some of you are train wrecks, but most of you. We don't do this because we like to work tonight and Saturday. That's not true. We do this because we like to watch you squirm and all of the work you do to prepare, but are also just as impressed with the way you come together as teams. Find that really inspiring and amazing. And lastly, we do this because we like to make big checks. So we'll be presenting it on Saturday, but it's the big check for the $3,000. That is, so Tracy made a couple references to Mark. That's the director of the Department of Human Services, Mark Cherna, right there in the background.
Okay, first and foremost, if anybody's ever seen this movie, and the movie Bye Bye Birdie and the Broadway play, people say, what's the matter with kids today? Nothing. Your presentations remind all of us that the next generation of workers in this field is incredible and amazing, and we have nothing but a bright future. Your presentations were incredible. There were kernels of wisdom in there that we could not have come up with that are going to be deployed, I know, in DHS for years to come. In our second place position, we have our ranking group.
We propose a DHS implement the Leadership Ladder program. And this program would have two main objectives.
I feel like at least I got so much out of it. Like I've never gone through such a time-intensive process before, where you have to do something from start to finish and make it look professional and you know, like come up with a really good idea and all of that in 2 days basically.
I agree, and I think this was pretty similar because they do things like with tech, things like hackathons, which are you have a certain amount of time sort of to accomplish a goal, and there's usually some prize or incentive at the end, which in public policy, those fields, we may not always get those opportunities. So I thought this was a really cool experience.
I'm making an impact. I'm working with a supervisor to set my own goals, and I'm seeing measurable results as that's happening.
Try to push the limits a little bit, really be creative. Our approach that we took, I think, was successful because we thought it was something completely new and innovative, and was something that the three of us would have liked to have seen or maybe attracted to. So use yourselves. For our challenge question, we were lucky enough to be members of the target audience, so we were able to actually have a better insight into what would be maybe more effective. But I really encourage creativity, I encourage asking questions, getting good background, and for winning, really just trying to make sure that you give a good presentation, meaning chemistry, have fun. This really isn't necessarily something that has to be so rehearsed. Really just get the concept down, and I think everything else comes naturally.
Yeah, I would say a good portion of it is just delivery and really trying to get your audience and get them excited about what you're talking about, because HR policy is not all that
That's right.
exciting, but we got them excited, I guess.
I mean, I think if you want the chance to stretch and grow and you're interested in anything related to local government, human services, this is the place to be. You know, this is the way to really make the most of your graduate school experience.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.